Listen, I've said this before. One of the best feelings in the world is being able to take care of your family, hands down. There isn't a car, a house, a watch, you name it, that is going to replace that feeling. So when you affect your family's life in a positive way and you know you've taken them out of their crappy situation and that they're now taken care of forever, you feel like a winner. That is the best feeling, hands down, in the world. So when people ask me, Mark, why do you want to teach people how to trade? Why wouldn't I want to teach people how to trade? I know what it's like to be in your situation. You have to remember, I was poor. I wasn't in a situation where I had a handout, right? My dad was very unwell growing up, right? And I'm grateful that I'm able to look after him. My mum committed her whole entire life to looking after him. So being in that position where I didn't have the role model, I didn't have anyone guiding me or looking after me, I know what it's like to be in your situation and have a very, very difficult childhood. Lots of different emotions. I had to grow up very, very fast, which is why, listen, I'm 31 years old, but I feel like I've got a lot more life experience than that. I'm not just a young 20-year-old kid or anything like that. I have life experience and I've done it. So when people ask me, why would you want to do that? It's because I like seeing people do well. Why wouldn't I want to help people change their own family's life? It's the best feeling in the world, and then being able to build it in a circle and leaving a legacy is an amazing feeling. Now I have a network of people all around the world. I know that I have in every single continent, in over 150 countries, I have a student that I can hit up and I can meet in person, go for a coffee. That's one of the most valuable things to me. So when people ask me these silly questions as to why would you want to do that, just because you can't see it from your own consciousness, maybe in your values you wouldn't want to do that, but I do, and I am me and you are not me. There was an interview, and it was a famous one, of David Guetta, right? David Guetta was talking about when I was broke and I didn't have any money, I always had things to spend my money on, and that's why I was broke. And now that I'm rich, I never have time to spend my money. Right, it's funny how that works, right? I often get this question, how long is Falcon going to be around for? How long is this mission going to carry on for? Will there be a point in which that you stop wanting to teach people how to trade? Falcon's been around now for over 5.5 years. We're going to be into our 6th year soon, and the project is just getting bigger and bigger. I understand where it comes from. I understand what's happening in the industry. I said this and predicted this a couple of years ago, that people will be dropping like flies. Why? Because the why isn't strong enough. A lot of people in this industry, they want to help people, or they talk a big game as to how they want to change people's lives, but when push comes to shove and it starts to affect their life, they're not willing to make the sacrifice. Remember, it's hard to change people's lives. It's not easy to do what I do. I've been in this game now for 15 years. This project is nearly 6 years old, and we are just getting started. One thing that you can always look at is this: watch what people do, not what they say. Forget about what people say. People are always talking about they want to help people and they want to do this. The reality is, when things don't work out or it starts to affect their routine, suddenly the mood in which that they said they was going to help you suddenly changes. Oh, do you make more money from teaching people how to trade than to trade yourself? People are delusional in this industry. They don't understand business, first and foremost. And there's a difference between a mentor and a coach, and I'll go into that after. Use your common sense, right? If we just look at Falcon as a whole, what do we have? We have 10 people in our team. So there's all kinds of taxes that people don't understand. People don't understand things like corporation tax. They don't understand softwares. They don't understand websites. They don't understand infrastructure, insurance. The list goes on and on and on. Any rational person in a position of myself wouldn't do it. So then people have the question, well, if it's such a headache, or they come from their consciousness and they start asking things like, I don't understand why you do it. Why do you sacrifice time on a Friday, Saturday, on your weekend when you could be spending time with family? Why would you do that just to help other people? Just because you can't see it from your level of consciousness doesn't mean that that gives you the right to inflict your beliefs onto me. Let me explain. If you see someone donating lots of money or helping the homeless or whatever they're doing, and they donate a couple of £1 million, and you're not there yet, you're not at that level, you could look at that and go, I don't understand why they do it. Why would someone want to do that? You can't understand through your lens, through your mindset, through your values. So just because you can't see it doesn't mean that gives you the right to inflict your beliefs on me, to then ask me questions like, why do you do it? It's because I want to help people, and I've been like that since I can remember. 10 years old, 12 years old, those that grew up with me will know this. I've always been someone that wants to push people. I always like to motivate, try and help people. I always like to give back. It's within my nature. Just because you can't see it and it's not within your nature doesn't give you the right to throw those comments. Watch what people do, not what they say. And what do? Every single thing that I've said that I'm going to do, I've done, and 10 times more. We only add more. We only go above and beyond. Why? Because it's authentic. The why is there. I genuinely like to see people do well. Now, I understand that's hard for some of you to fathom because you yourself probably have your own selfish needs thinking, well, I wouldn't if I was in that position. That's fine if you wouldn't, but I would, and I do. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's as simple as that. Falcon isn't going anywhere. Falcon is only going up, up, and up, exactly as I said. Not only do we have the infrastructure for you to be able to trade, not only do we have the mindset, everything you can imagine, the fund, etc. I'm now creating opportunities beyond that. I'm now creating infrastructure, so not only when you're making money, that you know how to make that money work for you. This is so much bigger. So to compare us to, oh, this trading education or that trading education is such an insult to what we are and what we represent, that someone can rock up with a random funded account and become a mentor or a coach. Now, this is the difference between a mentor and a coach. A coach can be someone who is in a position that is further along than you. They can help you, they can be very skilled, they have the skill set, right? But they may not have everything else in life figured out. They might not be business savvy, they may have never run a business before. They're very, very valuable. This is not to put a coach down. However, a mentor is different. A mentor is someone who has the skill set as a coach and also has everything else with that. Their life figured out, business. They know everything holistically. I have my life figured out. I've got my investments. I have everything set up. Therefore, I'm not in that bracket of just someone that's coaching people. I'm giving someone life experience because I have life experience. I'm 31 years old, right? I've been in this game for 15 years. So imagine what cycles I've gone through. I put my money where my mouth is and I've helped thousands and thousands of people. Not just that, it's so bad that I actually scammed someone into success, right? It was so bad that we taught them and now they're trading 7 figures. And the other day, yesterday, another person got scammed into trading 6 figures. So, I mean, what more do you guys and girls want? It's as simple as that. The reality is, people often have a problem, or they have a problem with you wanting to teach people to trade, but they don't have a problem with anything else. So they're fine with giving money to a tennis coach and saying, right, if I pay you this, you can teach me how to play tennis. Suddenly that's not a scam. You want to have a PT and they want to give you a workout program or actually train you in the gym. That's fine. Life coach, that's fine. You want to go to an accountant to figure everything out with your business. That's fine. You can pay them to have this service. But oh no, dare you teach someone how to make money, you're suddenly a fraudster, or you're put in that category of, yeah, but it'd probably make more money from, listen, your level of consciousness, you've not done the math, you don't understand business, so you're not really qualified to do that calculation as to what you think. We have a massive team, huge infrastructure, we reinvest back into the business, and yes, this is a wider project. So you might be saying, well, if that's the case, well, why don't you do everything for free? Can you imagine the riffraff that would come into Falcon if this was all for free? Can you imagine the mentality? We wouldn't have success if that was the case. Do you understand that? The worst thing, if that is actually something that you would want, if I was to put a poll out there and say, right, education is all for free now, right? Community, everyone in the Discord, everyone for free, it's all fine. Can you imagine what the webinars would be like? Can you imagine the lack of commitment levels? You have to put skin in the game. If there's a free gym membership, you won't go. If something is for free, you won't take it seriously. There is no success stories that you hear for someone that got mentored on YouTube online that they're now a 6-7 figure trader. Why don't these examples exist? Yet people can't wrap their head around it because there's something about commitment. 5K of my savings was invested into that two-day course as an 18-year-old, and people are complaining about a monthly membership. Come off it. These things weren't even available. They couldn't exist. I would have jumped to the chance to be able to, I could have been working, and there's nothing wrong with this, but I could have been stacking shelves in Asda or Tesco's, and I would still be in a position to be able to afford a membership for someone to teach me how to learn how to trade. That didn't exist when I started learning. So I said to myself, if I'm ever in a position to be able to help people, I always will. And this happened organically. So the reason why things are dropping like flies and people are coming and going is because they build things on quicksand. That's just the truth, that's the reality. So people say a lot of things that they want to do, but we do a lot of things. So people asking me, right, will you still be here in 5 years? Of course, we're just getting started. I'm setting things up in Dubai. People don't even understand where we're going. You can't even fathom it, and they wouldn't even dare to do it. I love everything holistically. I'm not just obsessed with learning how to trade and teaching people how to trade and advancing myself. That's just one layer of it. What I'm always, and I've always been fascinated about this, and you can see this from things like why I wrote my book, right? People ask me that. They said, oh, did you write a book to make money? Is that actually a joke? Do you understand how much money you make from a book? It's not about that. It's about giving people the framework and a concentrated piece of information that they can dissect and digest and apply to their own life. So I've applied these things for years and years in my life, and I've done that. I've been on the side where I've been a full-time trader, trading with a sizable amount of capital, and literally been so bored. No routine, no structure, no accountability. And many of you out there, it's a bit controversial, but many of you out there will fantasize about this idea of freedom and having all this time where you can just wake up when you want. I'm telling you from experience, it is boring. You can do that for a month, you can do that for 2 months, and you can travel the world, and eventually, I promise you, it will come to a point where you want structure and order in your life. If you're a big fan of Jordan Peterson, go and follow his stuff, right? He's someone who's got things figured out, clinical psychologist, and there's common patterns in people that have their own sanity. What do they have? Order and structure.
That's a great thing to do in your early 20s, is to see, okay, like, discipline yourself. You think, okay, how much work can I do if I load myself right to the maximum? How far can I work? How hard can I work until I exhaust myself? And then you back off, obviously, because the optimal amount of working, productive engagement, let's say, is that which is sustainable across decades. So you have to learn that, but you don't learn that without stretching yourself to your limits to begin with. And you know, if your life isn't everything it could be, and if you're suffering from an excess of meaninglessness, well, it means you're not oriented in the world of chaos and order properly. It's like you could learn to discipline yourself. Look, figure out what it is that you need to do and that you want to do, and then see how efficient you can get.
When there's no order, no structure, you're finished. Because the very thing that you want, especially in your 20s, right, when you're working towards your early 30s, you want to build as much work ethic as possible, and you need to find out where that is. So when I see these people looking for freedom, they're like 22, 23, 24, just laziness. They don't want freedom, they just don't want to work. And most people are trying to find the quickest thing to make the most money the fastest so they can do fuck all. And they don't realize that discipline has to come into play, and they've got no role models. So they're following other people with this mindset that are maybe a little bit older than them, but also have no discipline. So you've just got this generation of morons that are not going to build generational wealth, because the first sign of success, the first whiff or sniff at success, they act like they've made it. 20 grand a month, 30 grand a month ain't shit, it's nothing. And these people are bought for such a small amount of money, and they don't get it. This is why it pushes me even more for Falcon, this mission, this project, is to educate people on that's not a lot of money. And even then, you've got to know what you're going to do with that money. So the moment that you make it, and then you start taking that money and start buying whatever car you want, house, this, you've lost, you're finished. So I said in this quarter, in Q3, we would have so many more funded traders break through that are sustainable, especially with our in-house fund. What happened? It happened. What's going to happen in Q4? That's going to accelerate even more. We had someone pass yesterday. It's going to keep going up and up. So people can sit there and they can throw shade all they want. But the reality is, it's hard for many people to see that sometimes they were here, they were in Falcon, they had the same resources that the guys and girls have right now. Sometimes they had less resources, and these people are making it happen and they didn't. But there is no one out there that could drop their ego enough to say, do you know what? It was good. I had all the resources. I gave it about 50% effort, but oh no, your ego has to come and protect you and tell you that no, it's Mark's problem, or it's Falcon, or it's this, or it's the strategy, or it's discretion, all this bullshit, because they cannot take ownership over the fact that they didn't work hard enough. And that is the reality. And what you're going to see is Falcon scale up. You're going to see students scale up. You're going to see it across the board, and we're going to keep on moving towards the heights that we set out. Why? Because it was actually built on strong foundations. I'm just going to break this vision down very, very simply for you. My bigger vision of what I see and what is already happening is savage traders all around the world that have the right values, right? So this is more of an inner circle thing. They have the right values, not looking for egos, you can leave that at the door. have the right values, have the right mentality, enjoy helping other people, which is why our community go above and beyond for other people, right? But being able to tap into that network, because network is a very powerful thing. Being able to just, in a click of a finger, saying, right, who's going to Dubai, who's going to New York, who's in Los Angeles, let's meet up for a coffee, and there's 10, 15, 20, 50, 100, however many it is, that are all on the same mindset, doing very well, but at the same time, abide by similar values that we like to see other people do well. Spreading that positivity, spreading that change, being role models for the younger generation that just don't have people that actually instill the right work ethic into their mindsets, because they're being guided by TikTokers and all of this garbage that you're seeing, and it's going to get worse. So I feel a sense of duty as well, that I have got my shit together, and being able to transfer that across to other people makes me feel incredible, and I'll keep doing it every single day. There's a reason why I sacrifice time on a Friday and Saturday. There's a reason why I've not just outsourced this or pushed this to my coaches, for example, say, will you take on that content? I'll just oversee everything, right? I do hours and hours, 10, 15 hours from Friday to Saturday to ensure that the best quality content goes out, that it's tailored to all levels, so people can be prepared to make money and level up and have the right mindset, and the list goes on. Listen, I've just had this sort off the cuff, so I wanted to keep this as raw as possible. Falcon is not stopping. And please, check yourself before you start throwing shade, before you start lack of ownership. Actually look at yourself and say, did I give it my all? Did I put the work in, or was I just pointing the finger, playing the blame game? Because I can tell you this, doesn't matter what strategy you trade, you're going to have challenge. You could have the best strategy in the world and you'll have challenge. You'll have psychological challenge. The list will go on. Take ownership, move forward. But what is more important, I can tell you this, over the next 3 to 5 years, you need to be in a strong inner circle. In Falcon, I'm not going to let you down. I'm not going to be someone who's here for another 2 years and just decide I don't want to do it and just mask excuses. I am here. I have been here for 5.5, nearly 6 years, and I will continue to be here. And a Falcon as a mission is just going to keep on growing, which is why I'm always looking to expand, always looking to build the right minds. Not everyone is going to be here from start to finish. It doesn't always work that way. I've worked with some really great people. People who have been in a team, really great people. However, as a mission, we've got too big of goals to be slowing down, which is why I'm always moving with intensity. And people that actually resonate with that message are in the team for that reason, because they understand and they want to affect change as well. Giving them trading knowledge is not enough. If that was the case, there'll be millions of more people succeeding, but they're not. Why? Because it goes much deeper than that. There's self-image, there's mindset, there's routines, there's how you deal with relationships with your partners, how your family can affect your day-to-day, how you deal with your co-workers, your goal setting. There's so many things that go into this. Tax structure, the list goes on, that we have figured out, that we're here to help you. So if you resonate with that and you want to join a community that has your best interest at heart, this speaks volumes, and we would love to have you. But if you don't have the mentality and you want to be dipping in and out and you've got this flaky mentality, we don't want you in, because you'll affect the rest of the community, and it's as simple as that. Guys and girls, this is a tough industry, but if you apply yourself, you will come out on the other side so much more wealthier, but mentally sharp as well. Have an incredible day. And everyone in the trading space, if you're genuinely putting in the work, I wish nothing but the best for you, however you trade, because it's a hard game, and on the other side is where the rewards are.